Welcome to the Fantasy Football Hub YouTube channel. Today I'm joined by FPL expert, the big man is back once again, Bakar, to help us preview Game Week 22. Bakar, pleasure to have you back on, my friend. Another good week for you last week. So much to discuss though in this one, coming up to the crunch period in FPL.
Thanks for having me back, Jack. Hello and welcome to all the listeners and viewers. Hope you've all had a good holiday. Yeah, another good week. Thankfully, I've sort of stringed together a good run of greens now. I was just checking, I've had like 14 greens in the previous 15 game weeks, which is incredible.
There we go.
I'm very, very happy with the progress I've been making. And I'm on the cusp of breaking the top 100K. So I'm hoping I can sort of end well this season, because generally with the doubles and blanks, when they come into play, that's basically my favorite time of the season, because that's when the engaged managers have that extra bit of an edge over the casuals. And I'm hoping I can reap some rewards in the period that's to come.
Remind everyone what your transfers ended up being last week, because it was such a difficult week, I think, to judge if transfers were, useful or worth saving like you.
I sold Son for Richarlison simply because I fancied Richarlison for the next 3 or 4 fixtures, irrespective of the Game Week 26 blank. And I'm happy with my decision, because Richarlison got an 8-pointer and has a few good fixtures in the next 2 or 3 games before he is likely to have that blank for Game Week 26. And I'm kind of okay selling Son. I could have sold Salah instead, but I wanted to hold Salah in the off chance that he might be back for Game Week 24. And obviously, lots has changed since the last deadline, and it looks as if Salah will not be risked for Game Week 24 at the earliest. So yeah, I think my decision this week is kind of made for me, where I almost have to sell Salah, and I think almost every other manager who owns Salah will likely do the same.
Interesting. Well, we'll get into your thoughts on potential Salah replacements in a second. Before we do move on to your team for Game Week 22, I just want to show the viewers the new season history feature on Fantasy Football Hub. A lovely little graph here that just shows how you're trending, how you're doing over the game weeks. We can see Game Week 7, you were down at 3.3 million. But as you said, 14 of the next 15 game weeks have been, well, very, very good. It was a quick rise back up towards a more reasonable rank, and now you're pushing well into 5-figure territory. Actually, the graph hasn't finished updating because of the Pedro Porro auto sub points that you got for Trent.
Still not as good as yours though.
Yeah, I mean, you'll get there one day, my friend. You'll get there one day. I will just show this as well. We see the previous season history as well, and just down here, 2014-15, pretty remarkable.
I was pushing you close this week until Estupinan and Darwin inevitably spoiled the party, which was obviously frustrating as owner. But I mean, congrats over there, well played.
I'm coming around to Darwin now. He's been so frustrating, and now he's actually starting to do well. I'm loving it. It's brilliant.
If I leak your WhatsApp chats on Darwin to the listeners and the audience, I mean, I'm sure they'll have a different opinion.
No. We won't. We will not be doing that. Okay, let's move swiftly on to your team for Game Week 22 now. Let's start it. Salah. You said he's going to go. Who are you looking to bring in?
I mean, if we don't hear anything else before the deadline, I think he's going to go, because it's a hamstring injury. He's unlikely to be risked for Game Week 24. We don't even know whether he's going to be back for Game Week 25. And, this is how quickly things can change. At this point, last game week, we were possibly thinking of Salah as a triple captaincy candidate, but now it looks as if that's going to be very dicey at best. I mean, to be fair, historically he's recovered well from hamstring injury, so there is that chance that he comes back. But for now, we sort of have to proceed with the assumption that Salah will not be back for at least Game Week 24, and we'll see where we're at come Game Week 25. So I think Salah will have to go. Obviously, you can't have that 30 million player on the bench for that long. In my position, I think my replacement is fairly straightforward, because I don't own Phil Foden. I think Foden is kind of the obvious option for those who already have Richarlison. So in my position, I think I will go with Foden. Double game week to come. He's looking as if he'll start the significant majority of games, even if he's not playing in the attacking midfielder role. He can play on the right. And it was encouraging to see sort of Bernardo get subbed against Newcastle, which sort of bodes well again for Foden's expected minutes. And I think with the double to come, he is possibly my City mid of choice as of now, until De Bruyne proves his fitness and proves that he is worth the premium, the 2 million extra.
Sure thing. Yeah. According to the AI here, the transfer suggestions for Salah are maybe as you'd expect, all Man City players. given that they are confirmed now to double in 25 and then will play in
Yeah.
26 as well. Let's talk about, I'll put Foden in here just to see how that makes your team look. Let's talk about other City assets as well, just for the reasons I just mentioned. You have Alvarez here. I do want to get your thoughts on Haaland. Still,
Yeah.
we're not really sure what's going on. We've had some news just before we started recording.
Yeah. Before I touch on Haaland, I'd like to touch a bit more on some of the alternatives for
Okay,
for the
midfielders.
Salah replacements.
Sure.
So I mean, a lot of people are in the position where they already own Phil Foden, and I guess if you are in their position, I think you can possibly ignore Richarlison now, given the fact that he is only going to be an option for the next 3 weeks, and then you'll probably have to sell him in game week 26. In that position, I'd be very tempted to go for Jota. In fact, in my own position, I'm tempted to go for Jota, but the only reason I'm not doing it because Burnley at home in game week 22 is an easier fixture for Man City as compared to Chelsea at home for Jota. And I think by game week 24, we'll have a fair idea of Salah's return. If Salah is not returning, then I think as a Richarlison owner, I'm possibly eyeing up a move from Richarlison to Jota before game week 24 or 25. So Jota is definitely in my plans, but ideally I'd want to leave him till that game week 24 fixture at home to Burnley for Liverpool. And the next two for Liverpool are okay. I mean, Chelsea at home is a decent fixture. Next week is Arsenal away. Not the best. So I think Foden for me makes more sense than Jota for the next two, and then I can decide if I want Jota for Richarlison, depending on the Salah news. Because I mean, Jota has sort of picked up form, and we've seen in the past that when Salah is unavailable, Klopp sort of tends to play Jota maybe for his experience, and I think his expected minutes look good now, especially now that he's backed a brace. So Jota is almost certainly in my plans. I think for most Richarlison non-owners, it's probably too late to get him. But uh, for those of us who don't have Foden, I think the decision is kind of straightforward. I also kind of like Eze for a cheap price. I think he's decent. He is not planking in game week 26 either. He's good fixture. He has a good fixture not only this week at home to Sheffield United, but also in game week 26 where Crystal Palace are at home to Burnley. So I kind of like Eze as well, but I guess there are enough negative vibes around Crystal Palace to put off a lot of people. But I don't really mind Eze. But in my position, I think it's fairly straightforward. I have to pick Foden.
Yeah, I think Foden makes the most sense. I mean, he's a great player, and also just the sheer number of fixtures that he's going to have over the next 5 game weeks is quite difficult to turn down. Do you not think there's a little bit? People always say, okay, so Richarlison is probably going to blank now in 26. But he does have 4 very, very good games before then. Do you think it's maybe oversight a little bit to just discount him because he blanks in 5 game weeks' time?
It's tough. It's tough. I mean, I love
Richarlison
as a pick. Yeah, I mean, I love Richarlison as a pick, and you can argue that Maddison's return could actually bode well for him if he's out there creating chances and playmaking. So it's a tricky one to see. And what makes it more trickier is that Richarlison is a decent captaincy shout this week. He's not bad at home to Brentford. Let's say before the game week 22 deadline, we hear that Haaland could return. Then it sort of puts Alvarez in a dodgy position as well, because there is that off chance that he could get sub for Haaland, before at 60, 65 minutes. Similarly, if KDB is close to being back, then Foden could get subbed around the 60, 65 mark. So I do see an argument for captaining Richarlison this week, which sort of makes it tricky not to get him and ignore him. And this is one of the reasons I sort of opted for him in game week 21, because I sort of knew that if I ignore him now, I don't think I'll be buying him in the next weeks.
Okay.
He's a good pick, but with Jota now becoming more of a legit candidate, I would probably side towards him.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And obviously that double in 25 is really tempting. Before we get onto City players then, what are your thoughts on that double in 25 just anyway? Like, are you going to go into it with 6 doublers, 3 City, 3 Liverpool? Are you a little bit less kind of all in on it just because of the blank there for Liverpool in 26?
I think with the information we have right now for Liverpool, it's going to be, I mean, Trent's going to be in for sure. I have him and I'm going to keep him. Irrespective of his availability against Chelsea in game week 22, he's going to be there for game week 25. I think he's going to be a very good option. I mean, he could go big in that home fixture against Burnley even in 24 and then Luton in game week 25. So Yeah, I think Trent is definitely going to be in. Trent plus two is the call, and it's tricky. I think I could possibly go with Darwin. I don't have Darwin,
What a
and I
man.
think Darwin and even a double up on the defense isn't a bad idea. I think I might go with Robertson or Van Dijk depending on the fitness. It's an option. I mean, this is all obviously all assuming that Salah is unavailable. Then I sort of have to pick between Jota. I think I like both of Jota and Nunes, and it depends on where I see I am in Game Week 24, because I think the next time I'll be buying a Liverpool asset will be in Game Week 24 when they face Burnley at
Yeah.
home. And at that point, I will sort of see, depending on the FA Cup results, depending on the player form, I will sort of see that whether Watkins is more sellable, whether Saka is more sellable. In which case, I mean, if Saka is more sellable, then I will go Jota. If I figure that, Watkins is more sellable, I might get Darwin. So it's sort of tough to answer right now. Even double defense is an option, and I haven't completely ruled out. But yeah, it's going to be Trent plus two. And for City, Haaland is almost certainly going to be in. And let's say if I buy Foden this week, then it's going to be Haaland, Foden, and one more, which could be De Bruyne, but I doubt
Ooh.
I'll have triple City
Well, if
attack,
Salah's
because
out,
it could happen. That's why I'm
could.
not completely
Yeah.
ruling it out. I think Walker, Foden, and Haaland is more likely, but I haven't ruled out De Bruyne, Foden, and Haaland, because that has massive upside.
Yeah, it really
But
does. I mean,
again, a lot of this depends on De Bruyne's fitness. If he sort of shows that he is fit enough to play back-to-back games and play over 70 minutes in each fixture, then I will be tempted to go there with a triple up. But yeah, it's going to be between Walker and De Bruyne. And yeah, a lot of this will come down to De Bruyne's fitness.
I do think that Porro to Walker might be a very, very popular move come
It is,
25,
yeah.
really,
It
which
is,
makes
yeah, of course.
sense.
I've penciled that move in
Yeah.
for myself, um, for Game Week 25. In fact, someone like even a Robertson or a Van Dijk isn't bad from Porro in Game Week 24 when
Yeah.
Liverpool are playing Burnley at home. That's fine as well. So yeah, again, a lot of this comes down to the permutations and combinations of the blanks, of the doubles, of the player form,
Yeah.
of basically who I want to sell rather than who I want to buy. That's basically the argument. Because at this point in time, I'm not really sure whether I'll sell Saka or Watkins or or Saliba or Porro. So again, a lot of this comes down to which teams are blanking, which teams are doubling, which we'll have more info on after the FA Cup results of the weekend.
And I guess as well, we'll see later on what you're thinking in terms of like how aggressive do you go for 25, then how that leaves you for 26. But I feel like we can talk about that in a later week. For now, though, I really
Exactly.
want to just get your thoughts on captaincy, because that is the thing that I'm struggling with right now. I have no idea who to go with. You've mentioned Alvarez there.
Yeah.
Could you go
I
with him
think
if we're
this
not
is
sure about Haaland?
yeah, at this point I'd like to mention that I did Darwin to Alvarez 2 game weeks ago, and I thought it was a reasonable move based on the fact that, I mean, you're smiling, it didn't pay off. I mean, that move is single-handedly the reason why, I'm not 20 or 25 points better off
Yeah.
where I should be. I mean, I'm not sort of berating myself for doing it, but at the point it made sense, because I thought Alvarez was going to be the optimal captain against Sheffield United. I expected City to beat them by 4 or 5 goals, which didn't happen. And now I think this could be a week where he could go big again. But again, I'm not entirely sure at this point in time. Alvarez could be the optimal captain if, let's say, Haaland is not fit. If Haaland
Mm.
is fit and, if he has a chance of starting, then Alvarez could be a sell even for Haaland,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it's very difficult to say where I stand on Alvarez, but I'm just sort of hoping that I get another week out of him where I can captain him, just so that I can put myself at ease that the transfer I made for Alvarez paid off 2 weeks ago. Since then, in game week 20, I captained Alvarez. Salah was the one I would have captained had I not got him. He absolutely smashed it against Newcastle. Darwin got an assist. In the previous week, Alvarez blanked again, and Darwin got an 11-pointer. So it's a 20 to 25 point difference that I'm sort of now trying to claw back, and it might not even happen if Haaland is fit.
All right, let's say Haaland is semi-fit, so is not fit enough for us to all transfer him in and captain, but it does give you doubts over Alvarez's minutes. Who would be the next best captain out of any player in the game? Because I don't have Alvarez personally. I'm just
The
not really
thing is,
sure who to look at.
yeah, I mean, again, it depends on De Bruyne's fitness as well, because if De Bruyne is kind of on the bench, then it sort of puts Foden
Mm,
slightly at risk of being subbed early as well.
yeah,
So I mean, ideally, I want to captain someone in the City game. I mean, let's get that right.
Yeah,
And
I
I'll do
agree.
my best to go there, because that looks like the money ball fixture in terms of goal. City will probably, you know, beat them 4 or 5-0. But it's very difficult to sort of say who is likely to be the captain if nothing changes from right now, which is obviously unlikely. I think I will captain Alvarez, and I have my armband on him right now. It could shift to Foden or Richarlison, depending on what happens. If none of the City players look like a safe option, then I will go to Richarlison. Otherwise, I will do my best to captain Alvarez.
Okay, let's talk about who you're going to be benching this week. A couple of dilemmas in defense and midfield and attack,
It is a bit
really.
of a nightmare. It is a bit of a
It's
nightmare
a
for
tough one,
sure.
isn't it? What are you
Yeah,
thinking?
if I get Foden in for Salah, it,
Yeah,
it, it is a tough call, because I'll have to basically play one of Saliba, uh, Palmer, and Gordon. Now,
yeah.
Saliba has Forest away, Gordon has Villa away, and Palmer has Liverpool away. I'm sort of quietly hoping that Trent is out this week, which could happen. I mean, because it would
Yeah.
put me in a better position to get the benching dilemmas right. But as of now, if I have to bench two of these players, then I'm finding it very difficult. I mean, who do I play? I guess I could play Saliba, because that clean sheet looks it could happen, but Nottingham Forest have been playing well in recent times as well. And generally I tend to play the attacker. So I'm really not sure which way I'll go. I'm currently playing Saliba, but just the fact that Palmer is on penalties, I could just play Palmer over Gordon and Saliba. I'm really not sure.
Mm. It's a really, really tough one, though. I'm leaning towards
Yeah.
benching Gordon personally, just because of, yeah, Saka, Palmer on penalties, Richarlison on penalties as well for you. You're not going to bench Foden. I think it comes down to Solanke versus Gordon. I really
I
do
don't
not want to bench
I don't
Palmer.
I'm not going to mention Solanke. I think he has a
Yeah,
better fixture. I don't trust West Ham defensively at all. And Bournemouth are a good team. I think Bournemouth will score. And if they score, Solanke is very, very highly likely to be involved.
yeah.
So, and penalties as well. So Solanke is definitely going to play for me. It's between Saliba, Gordon, Palmer. I'll probably have to bench one or two depending on Trent's availability, and it's going to be a tough call. Currently in the pecking order, I think I have Palmer and Saliba sort of equal, and then Gordon sort of next to them. I think Palmer and Saliba possibly better than Gordon. I'm not entirely sure which way I'll end up.
Wow. So would that be, well, yeah, yeah, depends on Trent. I guess if that's Trent fit. So, I mean, if Trent was fit, would you
Which he
then
could be,
bench Saliba or Palmer?
or Gordon. I'll have to
Oh,
bench two of them.
yeah. So if you say you're benching Gordon,
Yeah,
who are
yeah.
you then benching out of
Then
them two?
one. I mean, I think Saliba is probably the better play, to be very honest. But generally, when it's a 50-50, I tend to go with the attacker.
Got to go with the
And
attacker.
it's so difficult to bench Palmer. I mean, the guy's got so many routes to points.
It's very, very
It's a
tough
tricky
indeed.
one. It's a
Very,
tricky
very
one.
tough.
That's
I
why
want to,
I am hoping that the trend is out. Yeah.
yeah. Now,
You know,
I do,
I could even save a transfer this week, but I don't want to leave Foden out against Burnley. I think the guy could explode. I'm not going to take that risk.
no, I'm definitely happy to have Foden. I think Foden will probably be my captain this week.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I will definitely. I think I'll sell Salah. Let's say if we hear news that Haaland is starting, and let's say if, he in the unlikely event that he looks like he could be a captaincy option, um, then there is that possibility. Then I could sell Alvarez for a hit, but I don't think it will happen. A lot will have to go wrong for that to happen. I mean, I haven't ruled that hit out, but it is a slim possibility.
I do want to ask you about two players that I guess aren't really like massive, massive issues in your team, because there are obviously bigger issues that you have to deal with this week. But the form of Watkins and Saka has to be a little bit concerning. What are your long-term thoughts with them?
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to give them more chances for the next 2-3 weeks, at least for the next 2 weeks. I don't really mind. I know Saka especially has been brankling, but I mean, he's Arsenal's most nailed attacker on penalties, and he could have a fixture in Game Week 29 depending on how the FA Cup results go. Let's say Villa beat Chelsea, then Arsenal won't have a blank, and then it would make little sense to sort of sell Saka. So I'm not personally too bothered about him. I think he's a good hold. Um, and kind of same for Watkins as well. I fancy Villa against Newcastle. I fancy to score two past them this week. But yes, closer to Game Week 25, someone like an Ivan Toney could be an option,
Ooh.
because he's nearly a million cheaper. He's back playing. double game week 90-minute man on penalties, no blank in game week 26, no blank in game week 29. I sort of like the option of going there. But again, I'll decide closer to the time.
Yeah. Well, that's going to be tempting. Obviously, one of those fixtures is against City, but he could easily score against anyone. We know Tony's caliber. Okay, Bakar, let's finish up this one with your Fantasy Football Hub AI recommended transfer. You'll be pleased to know that the recommended transfer is the exact transfer that you have in mind. The alternative is the bank, as you said, but yeah, Foden in for Salah.
Yeah, I think I'll just do it simply because he looks like the guy to get from Man City in midfield. No blank in 26. Great fixture in 24, great fixture in 22. So kind of like just ticks all the boxes.
Yeah, I mean, statistically speaking, you can see 25 is just obviously a massive week for City. And yeah, obviously Foden could go nuclear in any of the upcoming game weeks, especially game week 22, as you've said. Guys, if you would like your own AI recommended transfers, perhaps you are in a bit more of a tougher spot than Bakar with Salah still in the team. If you're like me, you already sold Salah, you're not entirely sure what to do, then have a look at Fantasy Football Hub's AI recommended transfers. Link down below to do that. Sign up and you get access to this. Bakar, thank you very much as always.
Cheers, mate. Have a good weekend. Have a good game week.
Yes, mate.
I'll catch you next week and hopefully with another green arrow for both of us.
I think you're going to be overtaking me very, very soon. You overtook me a bit during the game week. Then Estupinian bounced back, but yeah.
I don't think it'll happen very soon, to be honest. I was quite a bit behind you at the start of the season. I've sort of clawed things back, but I think it's going to be at least until the game week 30 or 31 wildcard before I have a legit chance of overtaking you. And
you're like 4 points behind me. What are you talking about?
I am a move behind as well, though. I do have Foden. I don't have Foden. I'll sort of have to take hits in the times to come to get the double game week players because one of my transfers is gonna happen on Foden, then the next one will happen on Haaland. So my transfers are booked. Yeah. So I can inevitably see some hits coming in the future. I'll probably have to get Walker or a Jota or the Liverpool guys as well. A hit is coming for me. So 1 or 2 hits are actually coming for me in the future. I haven't taken a hit all season, but it's gonna happen. So I mean, I think you're well set up as compared to me, but yeah, let's hope for the best.
I'm actually very tempted to do a little cheeky video on my own this week of my own team. What do you think? Do you think people would like that? Yeah, exactly. Get in the comments down below if you want to see that.
You underrate yourself, man. Jack is a brilliant FPL manager.
Just being humble, man. Just being humble. That's what I'm being. All right, Bakar. Thank you very much anyway. And also, obviously, there's still a decent amount of time until the deadline. There could be any news could come out that could change Bakar's thinking. Say Foden gets an injury or something, things will change. So if you want to know what Bakar ends up doing locked in, then check out his team reveal, which we posted close to the deadline. Link to do that down below as well. Bakar, thank you, mate. I'll catch you on the next one, guys.